right, y'all. Welcome to our discussion panel. We're the Femme-Easta gals. I'm Jennifer Pate. I run Mari Dodd.
I'm Billy Claire. I run Billy Claire Handmade.
Ahmad, Contemporary Art.
I'm Haley LaBeouf, and I make Haley LaBeouf jewelry.
Well, perfect. I think today we're going to be discussing a few topics that we find near and dear to ourselves, and we'll give you kind of a little bit of insight into what Femme-Easta is and what we will be doing for the East Austin Studio Tour.
Mm-hmm. So the first question I kind of wanted to ask was, what is a social construct? Like, what does that mean to you?
Pick me.
Yes, I'm picking you. I'm picking you.
So I have this whole thing, but to me, a social construct is expectations that society have put upon us as people, and these are expectations that we should act and behave in a certain way, and if we step outside of those guidelines, we are often belittled, judged, and shamed for it. To me, what I think about a lot is, where did these expectations come from? Why do we have these constructs built amongst our society across the world, country to country? And what I think about a lot is that a lot of these are based on traditional values, and this could be like a racial bias, this could be a religious value, this could be a patriarchal construct, and these values are kind of antiquated, but for some reason are still very upheld in our current society. What that's created is this expectation of this like formulaic life that I think is bullshit. And
me too.
we are often very like looked down upon when you don't uphold that kind of vision. And one of my favorite examples that I've heard about recently was how dare a woman be the breadwinner for a family? Because how are you making the man feel?
Fragile masculinity. So fragile.
So I guess in a nutshell, to me, social constructs are these social expectations and social beliefs that sort of manage how you act and how you behave, and it often makes us stop before we act and say, like, is that something that's going to be judged from the outside? Now, could be good, like, should I murder this person? Probably not.
Yeah.
But I think when we see it the most is like, should I wear that crop top? I'm going to be judged as hell for it. So maybe I'll put it away today. And that is the part that really breaks my heart. And I think the part that we see a lot more of.
And I think what, get it off your chest, what it's about is really taking a moment to examine what Kool-Aid we're drinking.
Yeah. Ooh, good way to put it.
Yeah. Like, are we drinking this Kool-Aid? And let's wake up about it and examine this and see if it's something that that aligns with our values. Does it align with who we are and what we want to be? So this is a big exercise in wokeness. I know they use that word a lot, but I think it's a good word. Like,
it is.
Let's wake up, get woke, and be more conscious of what we're putting out there.
Totally.
Yeah.
It has to be a conversation. I mean, in a safe space too. And I think it's nice that it's kind of like fun, and we can talk about it, we can laugh about it, but we are changing things and pushing things and really examining those.
What I think about when I think of social constructs is, where is this coming from? So I sort of had a challenge for everybody watching. The next time that you catch yourself passing a judgment on someone else, which I think, in all honesty, everyone does it.
Yeah.
But next time you catch yourself doing that, I really want you to stop, and I want you to think to yourself, where is that judgment coming from? Is this am I judging them based on how they're dressed? Am I judging them on how they're acting or what they're being? And I want you to ask yourself, is this a judgment that is based on a traditional value that I maybe grew up with? Maybe this is passed down from my parents and grandparents. Maybe this is part of that like formulaic of life of like, you must graduate and meet a mate and get married and have a house and have a child. And are we throwing these expectations on someone else? And then I want you to ask yourself, is this judgment helping me? Is this judgment helping them? And is there a way that we could stop being so goddamn judgy and actually support each other for these differences? Because I think when we judge each other and belittle each other and shame people, it makes people cower. And I can only imagine if we all felt confident and we all felt loved, like how much further everything would get.
Definitely.
Totally. All the
I'm into
snaps.
this.
Yes. All of that.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I felt like what kind of goes with this conversation is something that I definitely deal with as a social construct, and what Billy was saying, how, you know, do we hide this in ourselves? When do we take it out? And I feel like over the past year when I started this new series of illustrations, I mean, my art is the social construct that I'm trying to break, and it's not something that I can necessarily put away when I don't want to. You know, it's always kind of just out there on a plate. And I've been doing a lot of, you know, markets now where I'm like face to face with people and people see my art and then they see me, and that's a whole thing. And, you know, people can judge really quickly, and people, you know, will tell me, you know, oh, you know, you have kind of a sexual piece of art right here, and it just makes them feel like they can do things to me and ask me things that are very inappropriate, and where my art is my platform to discuss bigger issues about this social construct, where it just gets turned around onto me and is like, you know, now this is my baggage, like now this is something I have to carry around with me and tell you, no, you know, I just kind of have to like stick up for myself more.
Yeah, you have to put like a thicker skin on.
You know, because I feel like people immediately see like a female and then they see something that suggests something and they're just like, those two, like
invitation.
Invitation to do whatever they want, and I'm just not. It's a interesting battle to overcome, and I think doing this project together with you ladies is so wonderful, because I do gravitate more towards like the feminine energy, because I know that, you know, we like support each other and we empower each other, and I don't have to worry about, oh, am I gonna get like a text from somebody saying like, oh, do you want to go out, you know, tonight, and because, you know, I think you're hot or something, and it's just like, I just want that off the table, you know, like just having these like really genuine relationships with people is really important, and cultivating that energy. Totally.
Yay.
Yes.
I think you bring up a really interesting point in that, like, because you're putting these images out there, suddenly people think it's okay to turn that around and almost like expect that from you, or expect that you are open and willing to like get into that with them. And to me that relates directly to like that big conversation about like how women dress. And like, oh, if you show your tits, like, well, you're just expecting unwanted attention. And it's like, I'm expecting people to be fucking gentlemen. Like, I'm expecting people to be appropriate, while I also can like show self-expression. And I think like we are so stuck in this like social understanding that like, if you do this, then this is okay, and it's like, no,
that's the Kool-Aid.
That's not okay.
Like,
why, like, I'm now held back from doing this because I don't want that outcome, and that's such a fucked up construct.
A lot of these things, I mean, are just there to kind of put people in little boxes, and it does inhibit being genuine and being authentic, and like getting to that true self-expression. And I think as artists, like, that's something that you really have to like think about a lot.
Because it's also like, what am I putting out there? And also, I've had lots of children buy my art and for their parents, and don't see it. It takes imagination, you know. And it's like, it's half of it is like what you bring to the table, you know, so these kids
Yeah.
they don't even know. They just are like, I like it, my parents like it, I'm going to get it for them as a gift, and it's perfect and happy, and, you know, they can have their own opinions,
Yeah.
and it's great, and it's inviting.
Yeah, and I love your art. I was so drawn to you, like, immediately. I was like, oh my God, I love this girl. I love your expression. It's so bold. It's just, there's such balls in there. And I love it. And I look at it, I'm giving it like masculinity. There's such ovaries in there.
Yes.
We're just like trained that way. But I love that one with the blueberry pie and the scoop of ice cream. And it's like the scoop of ice cream is on top. And it's like there's like this stream coming out of like the breast.
Yes.
And I was like, is she lactating? And I was like, oh, I know. And of course she wouldn't answer.
Yeah.
She's got to do like the
If you want her to be.
the like, well, it's whatever you say, Julie. Like, I'm like,
Totally.
and I was just like, oh my God, like, I love that. Like, you can be a woman, you can be sexual, or you can be a mother, excuse me, and you can be sexual, and lactating is awesome.
Yeah.
Like, yes.
Yes.
You know, like, let's get all the weirdness out of it, and just putting it out there. Let us see it.
Totally.
And get comfortable with it.
Yeah, and for
Yeah.
Femme-Easta, I'm releasing works with, you know, non-gender binary and all that stuff.
Yes.
And so it kind of makes you think a little bit more when you look at it. You can immediately think female when it actually could be a male.
Right.
So that's really a fun interchange. It's like what you perceive versus what might actually be the case.
Yeah. And just being more accepting
Yeah.
of people who are, you know, transgendered and going through, I mean, there was just so many questions I had about it, and it was so confusing until, of course, Caitlyn Jenner, who I'm so glad she made that reality show, and it just helped me understand. And I have family members that have transitioned, and the pain that they go through is so intense, and I know I'm going on and on, but I just was so glad that you are doing stuff like that. And there is so much more stuff like that. Let's get it out there, and let's get people used to it and accepting of it.
Yeah.
So the more we accept others, the more we can accept ourselves.
Yes, more snaps, more
Yeah,
snaps all around.
snaps.